We have bureau chiefs out in San Diego.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, last night was absolutely amazing. It was so much fun.
Oh, yeah, show last night.
Yeah.
Oh,
yeah,
okay.
We had a show last night. The room seats like 200, I think, and we had like 180, so it was almost sold out. But it was amazing. It's like I see why people rant about it. It's like a small room. Everybody's right up on the stage, like seated right next to the stage. It was so much fun. The staff was awesome. It was just a really, really great night.
I saw the video you posted on TikTok and Instagram where you're like, if you work hard and you're a good person, you know, good things happen. And that's true for you. But what bothers me is I know there's going to be some comics staying in that condo that don't work that hard and they're not good people.
Yeah, but you can't worry about them. You just got to worry about you and do what you're supposed to do and put your head down and just act right.
Well, that's not very funny.
That's not very funny.
Listen, Bill, I'm feeling very enlightened and I'm feeling very...
you in California.
Ugh. I'm in Cali-Mare and I just feel grateful and lucky. And I don't know, I'm having one of those existential moments where it's like, it's all led to this, you know?
She's looking for a forest to scream in.
I'm going to scream at the waves.
I was going to say, you're going to have to switch it up a bit because you're going to have a hard time finding one out there.
Scream at the sea lions in the seals. That's who you scream at.
Well, they'll scream back.
I was going to say, don't scream at any marine life.
Don't scream at them. Give them a good scream. See what they say.
I'll say, I'm living for me.
And then they're, arr, 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 arr.
Get off the sidewalk. That's private property. This song's called Hot Patootie Bless My Soul. This is Meatloaf singing in the Rocky Horror Picture Show. I think the Rocky Horror Picture Show, which came before his mega success, he was in the original stage production of the Rocky Horror Picture Show. And from there, I think during Rocky Horror, either the filming of the movie or something, he was working on the songs for Bat Out of Hell with Jim Steinman. Jim Steinman was his lyricist. You know, like Elton John has Bernie Taupin. Mm-hmm. Elton John does the music. Bernie Taupin does all the lyrics. That was Jim Steinman and Meatloaf's relationship. I think Jim Steinman died a couple of years ago.
He died, I think, just last year.
Did he? Just last year?
Just last year or the year before.
Yeah.
Because I remember talking about that. I remember that.
I can't believe that Meatloaf lived longer than Louie Anderson. But he did.
Mm-hmm.
No. Age-wise. Louie Anderson was late 60s. Meatloaf was 74 years old.
I was like, yeah, they died.
By a day. The math wizard over here. Yeah.
Well, the craziest thing still is from the Dirty Work alum, you have Norm Macdonald passed away. Bob Saget, the director, passed away. Artie Lang, still going.
Still going.
Kicking.
Yeah, he's got a quarter of a nose, but he's still going.
He's got worse of a nose than Michael Jackson.
Like Chris Farley in that movie, because there's the Saigon whore that bit my nose off.
So Meatloaf, who is Marvin Ade was his real name, born in Dallas, died at 74. He was very open about the fact that he thought COVID was all nonsense. His thought was, if I die, I die, which of course is great because it takes a lot of other people out of the equation. Makes it much simpler for you to ignore them. Nevertheless, he died last night from COVID-19, and he was still out there doing stuff. I think the last appearance he did was in October, but he was around for a long, long time, and he has still got some of the best-selling albums of all time. You'll still hear, I'll Do Anything for Love every so often. I know Magic plays that song.
Which is a crazy resurgence that he had with that song.
It was from a tampon commercial.
Yes.
Or a Dr. Pepper commercial or something like that.
That's how it started.
What?
Yeah.
No, seriously, that's how a couple years ago, that song was in a Dr. Pepper commercial where the guy went to the store to buy his girlfriend tampons or something, and it was like, I'd do anything for love, but I won't do that.
Oh, so not a tampon commercial. It was just a guy shopping for tampons in a Dr. Pepper commercial.
I had it mixed up. Instead of him buying tampons, he bought Dr. Pepper.
Why did the boyfriend think it was a good idea for his girlfriend to use Dr. Pepper cans as tampons?
It was actually a bottle.
It's like a goat, or like the what's the thing that you put in
Diva
there?
cup.
Diva cup. Yeah. You cut the bottle in half.
Is it a goat?
No.
What were you calling
I
it?
was thinking of the Go Girl, which is the one that you put in so that you can pee standing.
The
up if you're a
Shiwi,
lady.
the Go
Yeah,
Girl,
she-
yeah, all that stuff.
Yeah.
The goat.
The Diva cup.
Diva
That's the
cup,
one
yeah.
that looks like
Bah!
like a pacifier almost.
Yeah.
You take the rubber part off.
That's what I do with it when it's not being used.
Your pacifier?
Yeah, sure, why
it's
not? My
got-
little binky.
Yeah.
Yep.
Penny flavored.
Don't even wash it.
Ew,
So Meatloaf was in Rocky Horror Picture Show. He got very, very famous from those albums, Bad Out of Hell and 2 Out of 3 Ain't Bad. But when you would watch him, even in the 70s, even when he was the biggest thing on two legs, literally and figuratively, he was always so sweaty and just, I mean, if you'd ever seen the guy live, I was like, God, how is this guy not? You had to hand it to him.
Oh, yeah,
you know,
man.
you were like, this guy's doing a full-on show. He's got a friggin' tuxedo on or whatever, and he's just sweating buckets.
And he's singing these love songs about women that were like he did real good for a big guy.
Yeah.
Yeah, I'm proud of him.
So 74 years old.
Rip Thick King.
What's that?
Rest in peace, Thick King.
Yeah. But of course, he said that he said, if I die, I die.
Was he on a ventilator and everything?
I don't know about that. I think he died at home. His wife was there, and but he had recently gotten very, very sick with COVID-19, and he had said, "I'm tired of all these restrictions," and he was calling flight attendants tyrants who wanted him to wear a mask and blah blah blah. So his wife posted something on Facebook this morning saying that he had died. But this is a guy who sold 100 million albums.
God.
Over a 5-decade career. I mean, he was in Wayne's World. He was in, I think, Fight Club is easily, for a lot of people, his most famous role.
Yeah.
Rocky Horror. He was on Celebrity Apprentice. And so he really made the rounds. But he was 74 years old. And you looked at him and you're like, wow, how does this guy keep going? It's like every time you went to go see Blues Traveler, before John Popper got that bariatric surgery, you were like, every ticket to this show, you're potentially buying a ticket to John Popper's last show. So not only is this guy running around and singing, he's just blowing on this harmonica to beat the band. You're like, oh my God. So Meatloaf is dead. And that was...
Are you blowing on the harmonica? I think you do some sucking too. So he's blowing and sucking on that harmonica, right?
Even more impressive.
Yeah.
So much blowing and so much sucking.
It's a lot of air being exchanged.
Wouldn't the lungs on a bigger person like that be better? Because they're so used to heaving around 400 pounds?
Possibly.
That's why people that are so heavy are so good at running. Because they don't
that's
get
what I
winded.
figured.
And the harmonica.
Yeah.
Yeah, they're so good at cardio because their lungs and their heart are just used to, you know.
No, it's so much more work on it for them.
Yeah, I guess that's true.
So, last summer, Meatloaf was giving interviews. He told the Pittsburgh Post-Gazette, I hug people all the time in the middle of COVID because that's what I'm going to do, and I'm not going to listen to Nazis on airplanes who want you to wear a mask. But he said, but if I die, I die. And he did, as it turned out.
So he'll do anything for a love, but he won't wear masks.
And why is that, Mary?
Because he's a professional comedian.
Bill Squire.
Shipyards tonight, Lorraine!
And I heard it was a packed house at High and Dry last night.
But yeah, High and Dry was great last night.
Yeah.
And then we got a bunch of, I think there's over 100 tickets sold for Shipyards tonight, so it's going to be good.
The Shipyards.
The Shipyards.
All right.
Out there. And they got
How far is that from the new Lorraine Script City sign?
I don't know. I'll find out
okay.
later.
Yeah.
I'll take a picture in the dark with that sign.
And then we get news that Louie Anderson died. If you follow Pauly Shore on social media, he had commented a couple of days that Louie Anderson did not have long to live. And I think that came as a surprise to people who really hadn't been paying that close attention. But Louie Anderson, he really kept it to himself. Very recently announced that he had non-Hodgkin's lymphoma. So he died of cancer. It's like a day before Freddie Mercury died, he admitted he had AIDS or something like that. Louie Anderson, I don't think, was public about any of this. but he was 68 years old. He was in a Las Vegas hospital undergoing treatment, and Pauly Shore was very close to him, and he had tweeted a couple of days ago that he went to say his goodbyes to Louie Anderson. And if you missed that, this all came as a shock.
I did miss that, and so when I saw it today, it did come as a shock. I shed tears for Louie Anderson. That one hit me hard.
Louie Anderson.
I can't explain exactly why, but it just was.
Because he was so sweet
Well, he's
and
so
funny.
sweet. And then,
he
he was one of those guys that, like I said earlier in the show, he's been making me laugh my whole life, and then I got to work with him, and he couldn't have been nicer and kinder and more willing to just share his experience and give me advice on comedy and life and stuff. He was just a delightful man. So having him pass felt really, really upsetting.
He had a fantastic career. I mean, most recently he did Baskets. I didn't stick with Baskets. It just didn't scratch me where I itch, but he was funny on it.
And then what's the Search Party? He's on
Search
that.
Party?
He joined that in season 3. And I didn't even really know what that show was, but then I checked out a couple clips today, and it's like, oh, this is a really silly show.
That's another show I didn't stick with, but they've been like switching it up every season. I only watched the first season. Here's Louie and Search Party.
Good luck to you. Court is adjourned.
I get to go out with a bang. Say something nice at my funeral, will you? Of course. Thanks, kid. Congratulations, Eddie.
Yeah, because he was dying in that show.
Yeah, he was like the old guy on that show, so they always made jokes about him dying soon.
A lot of people, including myself, completely forgot that he was the host of Family Feud for a while.
Oh, yeah.
I forgot he had hosted Family Feud because a lot of people had done that job.
He did it for 5 or 6 years, I feel
A while,
like.
yeah.
And it was Richard Karn did it as well, who was Al.
Al
Borland.
Bundy.
Yeah. You said what?
I almost said Al Bundy, but that's not.
He was Al Bundy.
Jeez, Peg.
His career launched, he's famously from Minnesota. He won the 1981 Midwest Comedy Competition, and 3 years ago he had his first shot on Johnny Carson, and it went very, very well on the old Tonight Show.
Sunday night, you're welcome, please. Louie Anderson.
Thank you. I can't stay long. I'm in between meals, so bear with me. I was just at McDonald's, and all those statistics just changed. So. I went shopping today. What's this one size fits all stuff? Being in California, being fat, and try to get into this California life. Went to the beach the other day. Every time I'd lay down, people would push me back into the water.
He was 31 when he did the Tonight Show. He's a young man. But it's all fat jokes, and everybody's like eating it up. You know, like if you were doing that. Even if you were
it up.
Even if you were making fun of yourself today, you'd have people complaining that you're
doing
fat shaming
stuff.
yourself. That's right.
I get that.
Hurry up, he's dying. And the bums down at the beach, always coming up to you, those guys. Hey, buddy, could you help me out with a sandwich? Well, sure, where is it?
Huge gap in his teeth.
Yep.
Oh, I love Louie. He was on our show about 4 years ago.
On our show.
The last time he was in here was 2017. He was doing the Weekend at Hilarities. I grew up listening to, my parents had the foresight to give me George Carlin records and Bill Cosby records, things like that. And so when I was in high school, I said, I want to do that for a little while. And I started doing stand-up in college. But it was 1987, Comic Relief.
Yeah.
When you did this bit on the Bonneville, I'm sure it's a classic bit by now.
Yeah.
But it was the first time I had seen it, and it was so, there was something about it because I recognized my dad in it.
Right.
Almost beat for beat recognized my dad.
I think that's what, like I was dishing out a different thing than the other comics were. So that was always lucky for me.
But it was so funny and effortless because you were telling a story. Anybody can tell a story about their dad. Yeah. Not anybody can make it funny. You made it into something outside.
I come from a funny family. But, like it just really was true. And, my dad, there's a Bonneville, Louie. He would make sure we knew it. You're getting into a Bonneville. It's American made. you could drive it head on to a train and live. And we'd all think, yeah, do it.
Yeah, right. Those are the guys who can keep you not freaking out about things as life goes on,
Yes,
because
that's
you
a
plop
good
yourself
point.
you plop
I never
yourself
thought of that. That
down
was really good.
in 2017, and everybody goes, "Oh my God, things are the worst they've ever been."
Yeah.
When you were a young man, your dad probably saw the world changing and couldn't process it, and everybody always thinks we're on the precipice of something. But if you have a perspective like that, you're like, it's gonna be
Here's what-
fine.
Like people say
Be fine.
when Trump got in, they go, I'm worried about Trump. I go, are you? Because my dad once kept us up from midnight till 6 a.m. because someone left the butter out. I go, I'm not worried
Right.
about Trump. I'm worried about my dad returning from the dead. Louie, did you leave it out? Did you, Louie? No, I didn't.
Louie Anderson on this show in 2017. Last time he was in here. I forgot he was also, people are telling me he was the flower delivery guy in Ferris Bueller.
Oh, yeah.
Remember where he comes up and the singing nurse? Mm-hmm. And he had the flowers? And he did a ton of television appearances, obviously.
Coming to America. One of his
Coming to
biggest
America
roles.
at
Yeah.
McDowell's, yeah. And he was in that old Brett Butler TV show, and he won a bunch of Emmys over the years. He's the native of St. Paul, Minnesota.
What's the line in there? He's like, in no time, I'll be making the big bucks. Assistant manager.
Yeah. So Louie Anderson died in a hospital in Las Vegas.
I was in the sequel of that, too. I didn't see that one yet.
Coming number 2,
Yeah.
America.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Did you watch that?
I watched some of it, and I was like, I don't think this is for me.
Yeah. I love that first one, though.
Yeah, he was in Vegas a while ago, and to watch him take something that was happening in the audience and turn it into something was great, too. Somebody's alarm went off on their phone, and he just kind of ran with it.
My bingo alarm.
Is your bingo alarm? Oh, who doesn't have one of those? What is a bingo alarm?
Time to get up and go.
To go play bingo?
Yeah.
Well, get out of here then. Is it really your bingo thing to go play?
Yes.
Oh, I love you. Your life has a bingo alarm. Was it just go off at this time every night?
Thursday.
Just on Thursday? How long do you have to get there from when that goes off?
Hour and a half.
An hour and a half to get to bingo.
I love that. That's really funny.
So, Louie Anderson.
And Mary, stop picking at your jeans. You just got those.
Okay, first of all, don't tell me how to live my life. And second of all, I don't like these jeans. I bought curvy jeans because I've put on weight, and so I was like, oh, these will fit better, and they fit horribly. They're made for girls who have like hips and farts. And,
Ain't nobody gonna tell me how to live.
so I was like, oh, my belly's bigger than it was. I need to go up a size. I'll buy curvy jeans. And when I don't know why, I tried them on and I loved them. And then today when I put them on, I'm like, these do not fit me at all.
Yeah, they got stretched out.
Well, they're like too baggy in the hips and crotch, and it looks like I have a penis. And
I'm 309.
oh no,
Yeah.
whatever.
And you're saying that's a bad thing because you're in San Diego now. So, okay.
It's, okay, when I'm sitting down,
I do have a
can't
huge
describe
penis.
It.
Mm-hmm.
It looks.
It bunches up. It's like on Curb Your Enthusiasm.
It's like
It's
The
just
little
the
tent.
fabric. Yeah,
it's a crotch
yeah.
tent. Oh, I see.
a big V of. Oh, don't zoom in on it.
I didn't zoom in. You put it on there.
So it doesn't look good.
You know, I remember Louie Anderson, by the way, telling us that he never wrote anything down either, which I found to be amazing. Amazing that he just didn't write things down. You know, Richard Lewis would go up there with a huge legal pad full of stuff and just kind of go through it. Louie Anderson was like, I just never wrote anything down. It would just come to him and, prepare material, improvisation. He just write things down.
And he was watching him perform on stage. He was very good at going in and out of stories that he had told before, but then also just going with what was ever happening on the show and like kind of going on these different tangents. But they're all very funny. He was very masterful at what he did, and he had his very unique voice.
And I did watch him on that celebrity diving show. Do you remember that?
No.
He did a thing, and that was the only reason I watched it. I don't know if we were talking about that when he was here, but it was called Splash. And it was a reality show that was on. It had already been on by the time he was in here. It was almost 10 years ago. And he was on the show. And Greg Louganis, who was an Olympian, was one of the judges. And these people would have to like do difficult dives. It was like Kareem Abdul-Jabbar and Ndamukong Suh was on it. And one of the Baywatch chicks and Louie Anderson
Was it Yasmin Bleeth?
No, it was who was the God? She was on like Charles in Charge or something.
Oh yeah,
and, Nicole Eggert was the one,
yeah.
And Louie Anderson was on Splash
As a diver?
He dove, yes.
Oh, I need to see
But I
that.
think he quit. Like some people got eliminated. I don't remember who won, but I think Louie was like, I got to get out of this. Like I don't want to be in this anymore. I don't remember if we talked to him about that when he was here, but I do remember he was on that show. Anyway, I've got to take a break here. Rip Louie, rip Meatloaf. And another $1,000 for you to win, another chance for you to go fund yourself is coming up at 3:30. So listen for those keywords. They come pretty fast. 30 past every hour, you got a chance to win $1,000. And after the break, I'll have Cleveland Monsters tickets for you for Monsters Family Day after these.
It's the Alan Cox